It's Friday. How many people have had fun this week? I ain't gonna lie, I ain't had no fun. Now, before we get into it, yes, I'm plugging. I have just started a Patreon audiobook. Yes, kid genres, fairy tales, Winnie the Pooh. Working on Alice in Wonderland right now. Gonna have a romance section, science fiction, mystery section. Go and check it out. No AI voice, no AI at all. Just me reading to you. It's called Bombards Tall Tales, and there will be a link in the description. Let's get started, shall we? So Trump has been going like a schizophrenic between Israel and Iran rhetoric. And I was like, oh, good Lord, it is. It's confusing as hell. You read the freaking social media, you sit there and see him talking about it, and it's like, so what side of the fence are we on? Dear God, are we bombing? Are we not bombing? This is not what I voted for. I want to stay out of this mess. And that is what we're looking at today. Stick around. You're definitely going to want to see this. You're definitely going to want to see this.
Most of you agree. So do you have any questions, please?
Do you know the latest on the evacuations out of Israel, Mr. President? Have you been updated on that?
No.
The latest on evacuations? No. Now, he's already settling himself into this chair because you've got to be a dumbass at this moment to not believe that they're going to ask you about the war that's going on in the Middle East. He knows it's coming.
We're having a meeting in an hour. We have a meeting downstairs in 1 hour. Yeah.
Mr. President, on Iran, if regime change does happen there, if the regime falls, do you have a plan?
So that's an interesting one. So if the regime does have a change, if it falls, and he settles himself even more and goes down, it's like, oh. Now, those of you who remember, or you don't, and you're just, smart enough to go look at history, Iran was not always as it is. It looked like a very modern Western country. Women went to school. They wore the styles of the day. It looked quite nice. So when they keep screaming regime change, and then I see Trump react in that, he goes down and hunches over. It's like, he wants to stay very still on that, which always makes me suspicious of where the mind is. It's like, oh, okay, so that's a stressor. They're talking of regime change. And obviously, he would have the answers if that's what they want. And he starts to hidey hole.
Plan for what you think would happen
I have a plan for everything, but we'll see what happens.
I have a plan for everything. I look down, avoid eye contact, then looks back up, but we'll see what happens, and gives direct eye contact on that. It's like, okay. But you also see the negative head shake with it. I have a plan for everything. To me, the stress really is in the tunnel vision of a path. We don't know what it is. Trump is very good at not telling everybody what his plans are, but he's got a tunnel vision of a particular path that we are on.
Got a ways to go. They should have made the deal. I had a great deal for them. They should have made that deal 60 days.
So now he's sitting there talking about a deal that he had for them. You got to wonder about these deals. Because those of you who've been watching some of this other stuff, he keeps talking about all these deals with all these countries. These deals. We do deals. They were real close to nuclear. We did deals. What kind of deal is going on? And how come no one has leaked what these deals are? Is there some kind of national security thing on what a treaty looks like? That's what I'm curious about. What kind of deals are we signing? To where all of a sudden, India and Pakistan don't want to fight each other anymore. It's some kind of deal with Iran. Like, what is this deal?
We talked about it, and in the end, they decided not to do it, and now they wish they did it.
So he's got the believe me look, which is pretty much just high stressor when it comes to what that means. He's also avoiding a lot of eye contact when it comes to this.
They want to meet, but it's a little late to meet, but they want to meet, and they want to come to the White House. They'll even come to the White House, so we'll see. I may do that.
They want to come to the White House. And he gives really good eye contact on that one. But then he goes back to, I'm not going to look at you. I'm looking down at the paper, which is pretty much an inner thought. They want to meet. I'll tell you what, there is a game going on here that leaves a lot of context out, other than we're seeing a lot of stress and we can pinpoint exactly where that is, but we have no idea why. And the meet part seems to be the issue. Coming to the White House is not an issue, but the meat part is an issue.
But it's a shame could have been done the easy way.
Do you think the regime
Could have been done the easy way, and the jaw tightens. It sets itself and tightens. Could have been done the easy way. Like I said, we're seeing particular areas of where the stress is, but we have no context as to why.
there could fall?
Sure, anything could happen, right?
He actually loosens up on that one. The regime could fall. Split second of thinking about it, shoulders relax, and just give a shrug of, yeah, sure, anything could happen.
Making your decision on Iran, obviously there's been a change from when you were pursuing a diplomatic negotiation.
Yeah.
Now you seem very open to the idea of
There's been a change, the tightness in the face. That just goes back to, as he keeps saying, there was a deal. There's a deal on the table. There was. Now there's been a change. You see the face again, the jawline, all of it, stress.
potentially taking U.S. action. Obviously, you're not going to tell us that. Can you walk us through what contributed to that?
See a slight head in the positive, the U.S. action. Not quite sure what that is, but it is a yes on something as far as U.S. action.
That change, how you got to where you are in making your decision now?
Well, I think it started the first night. I mean, that first night was devastating, and it really knocked the one side off, as you know. It was a devastating evening, day, and it pretty much proceeded that way. I have a meeting in
God, it is about what he doesn't say. That is just like, what? Human communication is all based mostly on assumptions. People pick up cues about conversations and fill in the blanks for what they don't hear or they miss. He's sitting there talking about the first night was devastating. He never actually says who he's talking about. But most of you will assume Iran hitting Israel and will totally ignore the fact that Israel hit Tehran the first night devastatingly, killed many innocent people, including the peace negotiators that were talking to Donald Trump about this deal. I shouldn't say they were talking to Donald Trump. They were talking to his people. So when we sit there and see his truth come through, it was devastating. Yeah, it was devastating. Things have changed. And he is trying to stay very still.
the war room in a little while, situation room, as some people call it. So we're going to meet. We're going to see. We're in the midst of it's a terrible thing. I hate to see it. I hate to see all that death, so much death and destruction. But death.
And then you see the hands flex on that. He does not like all the death. You know, if leaders could just kill each other, that would be great and leave all us plebs out of it. He'd probably be more apt to be like, yeah, you do whatever you want. Just leave the people out of it. But I digress. Let's move on.
Maybe John will give them to me. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, two questions, if I could. One about Iran and then one domestically. With Iran, what's your message to Americans both here and abroad who are not only concerned about the U.S. potentially getting involved in another conflict in the Middle East, but worry about the potential for retaliation here at home?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to get involved either, but I've been saying for 20 years, maybe longer, that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I've been saying it for a long time. And I think they were.
So there we have back to that believe me look. It's high stress at this moment. This whole thing, because it never goes down, it never relaxes unless he's talking about the game people behind him. This whole conversation is like, oh, there's no seeing through it. It's a wall where you could see some flex and stress and you have no context on why.
A few weeks away from having one. And they had to sign.
But he's also avoiding eye contact. Again, they're a few weeks away from having one. They've been a few weeks away from having one for like freaking, I don't know, 4 decades. That might be. That's an exaggeration. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, it's like, I've heard it my entire life.
A document. I think they wish they signed it now. It was a fair deal. And now it's a harder thing.
So wish they'd signed it, that he can give really good eye contact on. So whatever deal it was that they were actually working on, that's real. This isn't something that, oh, they were talking about it or nobody was over there or nothing like that. There were people, by the way, they're dead, who were there on Iran's side working with Trump people who were probably teleconferencing, who knows, to them about a peace deal. Or I should say a deal, because he himself does not call it a peace deal. He calls it a deal. And Trump is very careful with the words.
Thing to sign, you know, it's a lot of water over the dam. But, you know, it's I say it very simply. Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. Too much devastation. And they'd use it, you know.
All right, so he's pretty much on that. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. He actually relaxes in the believe me look. The face kind of goes into relax mode and he gives good eye contact. All right, let's move on to some history and some lessons. This was a long time ago. Well, I think this was actually the first term, actually. He sat down with Netanyahu. There was a whole lot of scandal for those of you who forget, you know, Bibi likes to plant bugs in people's houses, give them pagers that blow up, bug people's cell phones. Trump found out about his cell phone being bugged, by the way. And this is how he truly feels about Bibi. So he shakes his hand, does not look at Bibi. This is the politeness. Bibi's over here trying to hold him, grab his elbow. Come back. We're all good friends here. You don't need to walk away. Trump's face says it all. The tightness in the lips, the furrow in the brow, and immediately trying to get away from Killer Bibi. Look, and Bibi is so mad right now. He's gone tight-lipped. Like this mofo just walked away from me. And whatever was said to Trump, or the pressure that he received from the audience to get a, oh, we're best friends picture, he has turned back. And then they have a domination war and handshakes. I don't think Bibi liked that too much. He looked like he was in pain. I'm pretty sure Mr. Trump has had a lot of practice squeezing people's hands. So here's Trump, by the way, on the same day as he was with the video we saw first, talking about Bibi.
Mr. President, can you share some of what you've told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu?
So keep going. What do I say? I speak to him every day. He's a good man.
Keep going. Body is loose. Everything's fine. It's like, okay, keep going. Shoulders come up. They're like, threw it out there. Keep going.
What do I say? I speak to him every day. He's a good man, doing a lot. Been very unfairly treated by his country, I think. Very unfairly treated.
Now, we can't really see it, but underneath that hat is that giant stressor of a believe me look. And how can we tell? So you see the bridge nose right here, right above the head. You can literally see the folds of skin around the eyes.
Told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
So keep going. What do I say? I speak to him every day. He's a good man, doing a
So now we come back. That's no longer there. The shadow is gone. The fold of skin is gone because that's how much it's been pulled up.
lot. Been very unfairly treated by his country, I think. Very unfairly treated.
And then he turns away. He's done to go back to whatever they're looking at. I'm assuming the flagpole because this was the day of the flagpole.
Seek to aid them more than you have already?
No, I haven't. So far, he's doing a good job. He has been treated very unfairly by his country.
So far, he's been doing a good job, and he looks off into the distance. And he's being truthful. But Mandy, what about he wouldn't shake his hand? What about all of that? Well, again, we're missing context. What did Sun Tzu say? Never mess with an enemy in the process of destroying itself. He's doing a very good job. And I think that's where there's going to be a divorce in people's minds. That you have to understand that there's layers to how things play out and different viewpoints of how things should go. And Bibi's doing a very good job. And Trump ain't worried about it at all. If you like it, leave a like. And if you don't like it, leave a like anyways. Thanks for watching.